A choke isn't just losing a game. It's losing a game that you should win. Blowing a massive lead late, turning a win into a loss, especially when the odds are overwhelming. They're the bane of every fan's existence, unless the team choking isn't yours. Without further ado, let's get into it. And we're starting with an absolute classic, the 2016 NBA Finals. I'm sure most of you know the Golden State Warriors blew a 3-1 lead to LeBron and the Cavs. The Warriors held a 73-9 record throughout the year and were arguably, I think, the second best team of all time, and maybe would have even been considered the best team of all time if they ended up winning. No team in the NBA Finals ever, and even since then, has blown a 3-1 lead. But give it up to LeBron for making that happen, and Kyrie hitting clutch shots in Game 7. We've all seen it. Up for the layup, blocked by James. But it was also helped due to Draymond's suspension in Game 5 and the injury to Bogut in the series. But there's really no excuses, and the Warriors ended up getting KD later that year in order to compensate and end up going back-to-back. When the idea of super teams was still relatively new, the 2004 Lakers formed a quote-unquote super team. This was basically the three-peat roster with Shaq and Kobe, plus veterans Gary Payton and Karl Malone. Considering they won the year before, this team was expected to cakewalk to an NBA title. But instead they got dismantled by the Detroit Pistons, a fundamentally sound and defensive-minded basketball team. Chauncey Billups, Ben Wallace, Tayshaun Prince, etc. The Lakers lost in 5 games, and this signaled a new era for not only Shaq and Kobe, but the Lakers organization as a whole. This might have been one of the biggest what-ifs in NBA history if the Lakers had won 4 in a row. Something that hasn't happened in the league for a long time. In the end though, I don't think anyone's mad that Karl Malone didn't end up winning an NBA title. Before Dirk was a Finals MVP and a hero in the 2011 Finals, the Dallas Mavericks in 2007 recorded a 67-win season, and the Mavericks came up against the number 8 seeded Golden State Warriors. Obviously that Mavericks roster included players like Dirk, Jason Terry, and Josh Howard. The Mavs lost the series and at the time became one of the only 3 number 1 seeds to lose to the 8 seeds in NBA history. Another 2016 example, we have the OKC Thunder choking in the 2016 Western Conference Finals to the Golden State Warriors. And it's crazy to say that the Thunder had a 3-1 lead against the Warriors, who ended up having a 3-1 lead, who ended up losing to the Cavs. But it was just that crazy of a year. The KD-led Warriors looked like they were shutting down the 73-9 Golden State Warriors. But the Warriors remembered who they were and locked in, erasing deficits in both Games 6 and 7 to end up clinching the series. Losing a series despite multiple double-digit leads late in games proves this is one of the biggest chokes, and also one of the biggest what-ifs in Russell Westbrook's career. And now we're going to have a bit of a history lesson. In the 1994 first round of the NBA playoffs, the Seattle Supersonics, who ended up winning 63 games that year, were the heavy favourites over the Denver Nuggets. Seattle won the first 2 games convincingly, but through the defensive prowess of Dikembe Mutombo, Denver stormed back and ended up clinching the series, handing another loss from an 8 seed to a number 1 seed, and let alone a 63-win team with Gary Payton and Sean Kemp. And speak of the devil, we now have the 2011 NBA Finals. Obviously, LeBron, D-Wade, Chris Bosh, they weren't going to win 1 title, 2 titles, 3 titles, 4, 5 titles, 6 titles, 7 titles more. But this was their first season together after LeBron had made the announcement, and they took a quick 2-1 lead over Dirk Nowitzki's Dallas Mavericks. But this time, it wasn't the Mavericks who were going to be choking. LeBron struggled in the NBA Finals, shooting poorly and failing to impose himself on games. The Heat lost 4 straight, LeBron put up terrible stat lines, and the narrative that LeBron was a playoff choker was reinvigorated. Like, if you guys, we got another history lesson. 1975 NBA Finals, Washington Bullets. Obviously, I wasn't alive for this one. The Bullets won 60 games and were poised to contend for the championship, but they were swept in the NBA Finals by Rick Barry and the Golden State Warriors. Both teams ended up having 60-win game seasons, but the Washington Bullets were expected to put up much more of a fight than losing 4 straight in heartbreaking fashion. Obviously, you can't comment on this one that much, but I'm sure the old heads appreciated it. In the 2000 Western Conference Finals, the Portland Trail Blazers led the Lakers by 15 points late in Game 7, with the finals berth at stake. The Lakers went on a furious run and ended up winning the game, booking themselves a spot in the finals. A moment like this, especially for a small market team like Portland, hurts, and the opportunity to take that extra step towards greatness was crushed in brutal fashion. In 2006, the Lakers, coached by Phil Jackson with their star Kobe Bryant, were poised to win against the Phoenix Suns. This is the first round, by the way. With a chance to close the series, the Lakers mismanaged game execution and ended up losing to the MVP Steve Nash in the first round. This was Phil Jackson's first time losing in the first round, and this run failed to capitalize on some of the best seasons of Kobe Bryant's career. And last but not least, we got the infamous Game 7 2018 Western Conference Finals, Houston Rockets versus the Golden State Warriors. And the Rockets weren't favorites here, but they went into Game 7 with a real chance to close it out and book their spot in the final series of the season. They had multiple opportunities to take the lead late, but missed 27 straight threes. I don't know if you're hearing this right. 27 straight threes. That includes contested, but it also includes wide open shots. Players who had made 3-pointers for fun that whole season, James Harden, Eric Gordon, just couldn't knock down the shots. They were unable to close out the game and ended up losing. This is one of the biggest what-if moments in James Harden's career and the Houston Rocket franchises. Missing that many shots in a winner-takes-all game has to go down as one of the ultimate choke scenarios of all time. So what do you think is the biggest choke of all time? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and follow if you know ball.